Alright guys, my name is Hunter King, and this is everything I wish I knew before I started fishing high school. Okay, so a little bit about me before we get started. I've been fishing high school for 3 years. I've had 2 top 5s in that time. Well, 3 top 5s. 2 in KBN and 1 in a scrimmage. We got second place. Have yet to cap off a win, hoping to be able to do that this year. But I have learned a lot. Freshman year, I did absolutely terrible. I was not ready to join the fishing scene at all. Double zeroed very first 2 tournaments I ever fished. One was in the fall on Laurel, and the other was in March on Cumberland. I remember those 2 tournaments so well. I'd never run trolling motor before. In fact, the very first tournament, our trolling motor broke down, and we didn't have trolling motor all day, so we were just kind of drift fishing. It was absolutely terrible. But the second tournament, it was like 20-mile-an-hour winds, and my very first time ever running trolling motor. As you can imagine, it did not go well for me. And then going on to my sophomore year, I started fishing with a different partner. In that very first March Cumberland tournament, we took 26th place, I believe, which was a couple spots out of National Cut, and it was pretty unfortunate. I really thought we were going to make it. I did break off on fish that we would have made it, but late in the day, honestly, I thought we were going to zero that tournament as well. It was late in the day. It was 12:30. The wind was blowing like crazy again. You could barely get across the lake, and honestly, I was scared. I was really scared. I'd never been in waves like that before, but we went into this pocket. The wind was blowing straight in there, and then we got to the back of it, and we started reeling on them. I broke off on like a 3.5-pound smallmouth, and then my partner caught a 3.5-pound smallmouth, and then we filled out our limit with like 14 to 15-inch spots, and ended up with like 8-something pounds, something like that. And it was my first start and my first ever limit in a tournament. It was nice. It gave me a lot of confidence going into that year. And then my partner ended up actually breaking his arm. This is before I started YouTube, by the way. My partner broke his arm right before regionals. So there was a green tournament that I fished before that. So my partner now, Lucas, I ended up fishing with him. His partner, what did his partner do? Something happened where his partner couldn't fish anymore, so he needed a partner, and it was his sister. His sister didn't want to miss some kind of dance or something. And then, so to get chemistry, because we kind of figured that we were going to be fishing with each other the next year, which would be my junior year, which was last year when I started doing YouTube. We fished a tournament at Green in April. It was like April 16th. So we did that. He wore me out from the back of the boat because I still, up to this time, it wasn't clicking. I was fishing, but it wasn't clicking up here, and I wasn't really good with live scope. So he caught a 3.5 out of the back of a creek that I chose. At this time, I was still I was not talking to anyone about fishing. Like, when I would go to these lakes, everything I would break down myself. I wouldn't even ask about areas, nothing, what the lake looked like, what the lake didn't look like. I would just go into it absolutely blind. I would pick a creek, we would go to it. And so we went to Stone Quarry Creek after doing something that his grandpa told us to do, and we didn't catch anything. Then we went to Stone Quarry Creek, very back of it, we caught a 3.5. Then on our way out, lost one that was about 16 to 17 inches. I missed the net. Then he lost, I think, a spot after that. Then we pulled up, we went to a wall, and he set the hook on a jig, and he lost like a 6.5 or 7-pounder. And then our tournament was over. But then getting to the whole point of the story, that April, I didn't have anyone to fish with because I had already gotten him a partner because at the time Parker hadn't broken his hand. So I got Lucas a partner before Parker broke his hand. So I'm left without a partner. So I'm fishing this April regional tournament when the fish are on bed and they're spawning. And practice day, me and Dad roll up and we find them. There's 100 fish on bed, not on bed, well, on bed and cruising. There's actually only like 5 locked on bed. So basically, Dylan Stallings. So he was the hammer for the Spencer County Bass Fishing Team way back when it first started. He did extremely, extremely well. Never missed a state tournament for KHSAA and was in the top 20 in I think every one of those state tournaments. And then, since you need to have 3 people in the boat, he came down and was in the boat with us during the actual tournament day. But overnight, and I wasn't thinking about it, but it dropped down to like 40 degrees. So all the fish that were getting ready to think about spawning decided that they weren't going to spawn anymore. So I was left with like 5 dead fish. I ended up catching 2. One shrunk on me on the way in, and ended up catching a spotted bass before I even went into that creek. Which, looking back now, out of all the tournaments I've ever fished, that one was the one that I had the biggest chance to win because we were on them. And if I'd had another person in the boat with me, I think that probably could have got more of those fish to bite because, I mean, if there's 2 people pitching in a bed, that fish is going to get so much angrier. And I saw that last year, actually, in that same tournament. We ended up bed fishing at the end of the day, but we didn't do it at the beginning because we found some big smallmouth, but it didn't work out. And then went bed fishing, kind of scrambling, and then we pitched in there, and it only took us like 5 minutes to catch a bed fish because we were both pitching in there, and Lucas ended up catching it. Okay, so what was the next tournament I fished after that? End of sophomore year, beginning of junior year, we had our first really big success. It was a home tournament on Taylorsville. Me and Dad practiced the entire week. The 2 days before the tournament, we rolled in the back of a creek. I caught a 3.5. We moved to the other side of the creek. I caught a 6.5, and then we just left. And then tournament day, we were going back and forth on it. We got cut off a bunch, but that's fine, whatever. At one point, people were casting over our line. That is something I'm definitely going to be talking about in this video because they have absolutely no respect for anyone, boat captains and stuff and other high schoolers. And then, so we were doing that back and forth. We ended up catching 3 keepers that day, putting us in 4th place, like 0.2 off of 3rd place. And then after that, the very next tournament we fished was at Green. We got 5th. The video is up on that, so you can just watch that instead of me sitting here and explaining the entire story. And then after that, we fished a bunch of tournaments. I don't even remember them all, to be honest. The videos are up on YouTube. I don't really have to explain my junior year because you guys can just go watch it all. But other than that, that's a good explanation of me and who I am and the tournaments that I have fished. And let's get into. All right, so starting off, I'm going to be honest. High school fishing, it's great and all. It's literally just a learning opportunity. Every time you go to fish, you need to be able to, what can you take away from that? What can you do to make yourself a better angler? My freshman year, for me, that answer was, I need to fish more. I thought I was ready. I had been farm pond fishing my entire life, and I would always have like little competitions with my friends who catch the biggest bass or who could catch the most bass, and I would win every single time, pretty much. But I mean, it was lakes or farm ponds that I fish all the time. So yeah, I know where the bass are. But I was overconfident, and very first tournament I went into, I double zeroed. Very second tournament I went to, I double zeroed. And that was my freshman year, pretty much. I did step back, co-angler for a little bit on a different boat for April, Nolan and Cumberland. I don't know what place we got at Nolan, but we had 3 keepers, and then the Cumberland we had 1 keeper spot, and that was it. But you need to be able to go and fish club tournaments as a co-angler, not as a boater. I don't care who your dad is. I don't care who's your captain is. Don't fish with your captain. Fish with somebody else, preferably an old guy. I fished in the back of the boat with 3 or 4 different people, maybe 5, like 5 different people. And I have learned so much because everyone has a different fishing style. Everyone has a different what they are good at. And knowing that and being able to put that into your own fishing skills and your own techniques and stuff that you can pull out of your back of your pocket is so invaluable. Um, I did fish with the fishing coach that was Spencer County for a while. He wasn't the coach at the time I was fishing with him, but we only got one keeper. We fished like 8 tournaments together. It was terrible. Taylorsville is not his expertise, at least in the summer, which it's not anyone's in the summer. The summer is terrible. But yeah, the main point, you need to find someone that you can fish under and just learn from. Preferably not someone that scopes. Preferably like an old guy where you can just learn old fishing techniques that you need to know. The second one is learning to work as a team with your partner, because you two are not fishing against each other. A lot of times in the boat, you'll want to catch more than your other partner, and it was really bad for me because I'm so competitive my freshman year that I did not want my partner to catch any fish. I wanted to catch more fish than him, and it did not matter. Like, I wanted to catch every single keeper. But that's just not, you want to win. It's not about who catches the fish. You want to put yourself in a position to win. And to do that, 2 lines in the water, both staying in the strike zone, you're going to have more of a chance to win, and especially with a boater. Like co-angler, you can't really do much. All you can do is control what you can control. Your casting, the bait you use, the choices you make in the back of the boat that's going to lead to you putting an extra fish or 2 in the boat, because a lot of times co-anglers, they're not going to put most of the fish in the boat. They're more than likely just going to put 1 or 2 because they're fishing behind someone the entire time. The person in front of the boat's more than likely going to catch the fish that are going to bite. And the person in front of the boat being that person that's going to catch the fish in the front of the boat, they need to realize that and realize how hard it can be for a co-angler in the back of the boat, and how co-anglers can just kind of like go off in la la land. But as a co-angler, you can't do that. You need to stay focused the entire time. I know that it's hard. I know that more than likely you might get 1 or 2 bites all day and that's it. But if you stick with it, you can help your team win. But a lot of times co-anglers will just be in the back of the boat, kind of like chilling, not really doing much of anything. And then, this last one is an absolute biggie. Because when I first started high school, I did not want to get information from anybody about any lakes. I wanted to do it all on my own, no matter what. So I was putting myself at a disadvantage compared to pretty much every single other high school boat. And that's not good. You can't do that. You can't put yourself in a position to already be behind the 8 ball. So like, I knew nothing about these lakes starting out. I mean, now I can go and I can just go fishing. Like Lake Cumberland, I know what I'm going to do in March. I know what I'm going to do in April. I know what I'm going to do anytime there's a tournament there. I fish it at all times throughout the year. I had some success here and there. Not the success that I would want to, but I've had an opportunity to be in the position to win tournaments. It just hasn't come together. And most of my tournaments, I would not change my decisions that I made at Cumberland, just because I fished it so much. And every single other high school angler out there, I guarantee you they're getting information, whether it be past like the information rule or whatever. I'm not going to recommend you do that. I don't do that. I do not get information like the day before the tournament. I don't do that. And if I do get information, or if someone tells me something that I shouldn't know, I just don't follow up on it. You should tell the tournament the director as well, but like, I just don't listen to it. Like, my dad will get information and I tell him that if you get information, don't tell me about it. I don't want to know. You keep it to yourself. And other high school anglers, they will literally probably just call someone while they're on the boat and be like, hey, you catching them here? You catching them there? Now, I don't know what the rules are on like teams communicating with each other. Like if Spencer County teams where one person was whacking them, they had five, and they called their other boat to go over there. I don't really know. We don't do that as a team. But I don't know if that's okay or not. I don't really read the rules on that kind of stuff because as Spencer County, we just don't do that. But other teams do get information, and they do get information past that. I know that they do. Everyone knows that they do, but there's no way to prove it. And honestly, I don't really care. If you need to get information that badly to catch fish, get it. But what I will do, and what you can do, is you can talk to other people that are anglers fishing the tournament. So like, I will try and talk to everybody on the Spencer County team like right after our practice day, because I want to know how they caught them. I want them to know how I caught them or didn't catch them, so that we can eliminate water as a team and be more likely for one of us to qualify or one of us to place higher in the tournament. Because yes, single team success, like mine and Lucas' success, it means a lot to me, but it also means a lot that someone from Spencer County goes to state. So like an April tournament, which I don't know that I'll be fishing this year because I think it's about the same time as USA Bassing, so I might not be fishing that. I'm going to fish the Bass Cat Classic and hopefully win 10 grand, but that's besides the point. I want my team to do well as well. I want Spencer County High School to do well. I want me and Lucas to do well, but if someone else does well on the team, that's okay too. And I know people that probably get information from tournament directors. I do know one person that does come to mind. They're pretty like, I'm not going to say the trail. I'm not going to say anything about that. They're just pretty close with the tournament director who runs it, which is interesting. I don't know that. I'm not saying that they do. I'm not saying that they need it, but more than likely, they probably do. I mean, I can't say I blame them. Like, I mean, I don't know that I wouldn't if I was in that position. I would like to think that I wouldn't, but I also don't know that. But getting information is a huge problem with high school fishing. Everyone wants to give you information. Your captains, everything. And here's a big problem I have with captains, all right? So there's like 3 different types of captains. Captains that you're going to do what they want to do no matter what, and they're basically trying to fish through you. These are going to be older guys, generally older guys, and they're just going to tell you, the fish are here, this is where we're fishing, no matter what. Whereas, so like my dad, he lets me make all the decisions. Me and Lucas, we make the decisions, and that's how it should be. The high schoolers on the boat should make the decisions, because when they go off to college and fish for college, who's going to be making those decisions for them? They're going to be making those decisions. They're going to need to know how to find fish, where to find those fish, how to pattern those fish, and how to catch those fish on tournament day. It doesn't do them any good for their captain to be like, do this, do that, do this, if they can't practice, figure something out, and go catch those fish. So, like, if I ever get information, it's not like, go do this, and this, because I don't want that. That information does not help me. Every time that I've ever been told what to do, that information fizzled out. Like, because it would be, someone went fishing there a month earlier. Those fish aren't there anymore. And when you try and explain that to people, like, they don't get that. Like, a lot of times those fish are not there. Not always, but a lot of times. Like in the summer, the fish will probably still be there because they're already in their summer spot. But like in the spring at Cumberland, the fish move so much. It's almost no point of even practicing, because those fish are going to be there one day, gone the next, or they're there one day and they won't bite the next. There's no in between, which is why Cumberland is so hard to fish without live scope, because you just don't know. You can go have 15 pounds one day and then the next day, nothing. Like every single tournament that I've ever seen that's a 2-day at Cumberland, the weights are so inconsistent. Like someone will have 18 pounds the first day and then they'll drop the second day. I know someone that was fishing a BFL, and they had a lot the first day and could have been leading the tournament. Second day, they sucked. It's just how it is. If you're not scoping, at least. If you're scoping, then you can consistently put together a bag. But there's so many problems with high school fishing. The main thing being the captains, obviously. Like, obviously, you need captains. You don't want high schoolers out there just roaming around on boats and doing that. But if you don't let your high schoolers make the decisions, whether they double zero or not, you're not helping them. They're not getting better. I could have someone tell me where to go fish all day. I'm not going to get better from that because I don't know why I'm going to fish there. I don't know why the fish are there. I'm not learning at all. Like, so for high school, I don't think captains should make the decisions on where to go. But juniors, so your middle schoolers, I think captains should make the decisions because that junior doesn't really matter at all. It's not, you're not leading up to college. You're leading up to high school. You'll still have a captain in high school. I'm not saying that I don't talk to my dad and try and bounce my ideas off of him, because I do. My dad's fished a really, really long time. I do bounce my ideas off of him. But he doesn't make the final say about where we go and fish the next morning. Me and Lucas do. So, which Lucas is always just like, yeah, I don't really care what we do. Makes me want to slap him every time. I wish he would make decisions sometimes, but where was I? Oh yeah, middle schoolers. It is important for them to have a captain that shows them where to go, shows them the ropes, teaches them. It goes back to the thing about being a co-angler for someone that's older than you. It helps you. It does. It helps you a lot. But those captains should be able to know that they need to explain why they're fishing there, why they catch the fish there, and why those fish are biting what they're biting at a certain time of year. Because when they get to high school, it's not going to help them unless the captain still does that and still just makes all the decisions, which I think is wrong. And then when you get to college, I mean, it's not going to help you at all. But that's basically the main things. There's a lot more that I've learned throughout high school, but those are really just the main things that are important, that I think are important, that just come to mind right away. And a lot of it's just like, really? High school fishing it's expanded the sport so much, and it's been such a blessing for me to be able to fish high school, and I've learned so much throughout fishing high school. But there comes a point where, like, I think that, honestly, I know that this is kind of off topic, but I think they should ban live scope. I use it. I do. I have to. If you want to compete in high school, you have to know how to use live scope. You're competing against like 10 other people, honestly. There's 10 other boats that will do well consistently in high school, at least in Kentucky. I don't know. It's different for everywhere else. But in Kentucky, I'm only worried about 10 boats when I go fishing. Everyone else who does well and catches fish, it's pretty much one-off. Like, there are only like 10 to 20 people that place in the top 50% of the field consistently. And I don't know why that is. I mean, I do know why that is, but it's just, I don't know, it's sad. It can be sad. Guys, I know I did get a little long-winded in this video. Hopefully you did stay till the end. I know that just me talking can be kind of monotonous, but hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you can take it back to your high school, and hopefully that you can reel in some bass this spring. I know that I will be doing my best to reel in some bass come March. March 15th, we have Battle at the Border, and then right after that, we have SAF State, hoping to qualify for nationals this year. I haven't really tried too hard the past 2 years, so and then right after that, we have KBN State Trail on Cumberland. Whew. Loaded up this spring. But I will catch you guys in the next video. If you enjoyed this video, let me know, because I have some other topics and stuff that I can talk about related to fishing, and I don't know if people just want to hear me talk. If you have any recommendations, drop them down below. I'm looking for video ideas. I do not care. If you want to see something, I will do it. I really, it doesn't matter to me. I struggle with coming up with video ideas and stuff to talk about. So anytime you guys want to help me out on that, if there's something you want to see, just drop a comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in the next one.